Early this morning, just before many in the East Bay were even awake, the ground under San Ramon shook. It started as a brief, sudden jolt, a small tremor, but one that sent residents jumping out of bed and checking their phones for alerts. Reports quickly came in. Multiple small earthquakes had rattled the area within a few hours, each subtle but enough to be felt across neighborhoods. For a community that isn't used to frequent shaking, this was unsettling. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what happened, why these earthquakes are occurring, what experts are saying about the risks, and how this fits into the broader seismic story of the region. By the end, you'll understand not just the numbers and magnitudes, but also what these quakes mean for the people living in San Ramon and the surrounding East Bay. San Ramon sits in California's East Bay, nestled between rolling hills and major fault lines. It's a city of over 75,000 residents, known for quiet suburbs, local parks, and tech-driven communities. Life here is typically calm, which is why any earthquake, no matter how small, grabs attention immediately. Over the past few hours, a cluster of small tremors has been reported, with magnitudes ranging from 2.5 to just over 3.0. While these aren't considered dangerous on their own, they form part of a pattern scientists call a seismic swarm, which can sometimes indicate stress building along nearby faults. In this video, we'll explore the timeline of today's quakes, the geological context behind them, what experts are saying about potential risks, and most importantly, how residents are experiencing this unusual morning of shaking. By the time we're done, you'll have a clear picture of today's events, their significance, and what being prepared really looks like in a seismically active region. Early this morning, just as many East Bay residents were still asleep, a sudden jolt shook San Ramon. It was brief, but unmistakable enough to wake people, rattle windows, and make pets skittish. Over the next few hours, additional tremors followed, each small but noticeable. In a quiet suburban city like San Ramon, this was unexpected. Today, we're going to unpack what happened, explore why the ground shook, and look at what scientists are saying about the likelihood of larger quakes. We'll also hear from residents and examine what this means for a community living along California seismically active East Bay. San Ramon is home to over 75,000 residents and sits in a region known for rolling hills, technology-driven suburbs, and proximity to major fault lines. Normally, life here is calm, making these tremors more startling. The first quake struck in the early hours, with additional tremors reported throughout the morning. While the magnitudes were small, ranging from about 2.5 to just over 3.0. These events are part of a pattern called a seismic swarm. Swarms are clusters of small earthquakes in a short time. And while they don't guarantee a major earthquake, they signal shifting stress along underground faults. In this video, we'll walk you through a timeline of today's quakes, delve into the geological reasons behind them, examine expert perspectives on the risks, and share how local residents experience the shaking. By the end, you'll have a clear understanding of what happened in San Ramon, why it matters, and how communities prepare for life in earthquake country. Whether you live here or just want to understand the science, this breakdown will give you both the facts and context behind today's tremors. The first tremor of the morning struck San Ramon at approximately 2:33 a.m., registering around magnitude 2.9. Though small in scale, it was enough to be felt by residents across the city and nearby towns. Many reported sudden jolts in bed, rattling dishes, and the sound of objects shifting. Within the next few hours, the area experienced multiple additional quakes. Around 5:21 a.m., a magnitude 3.0 tremor was recorded, followed by a magnitude 2.7 at 5:37 a.m. Each tremor was short-lived, lasting just seconds, but together they created a series of small shocks that kept residents on edge. Though none of these quakes caused reported damage, small earthquakes can still feel alarming, especially when they occur in clusters. Experts point out that these swarm events are common in certain parts of California. Unlike a single large earthquake, swarms involve multiple tremors in a short time frame, often without a clear main shock. While it can be tempting to view each tremor as a warning sign, seismologists caution that the vast majority of swarms do not immediately precede a major earthquake. San Ramon lies near the Calaveras Fault. It's part of a complex network of faults running through the East Bay. This network has a long history of both small and significant seismic activity. While today's quakes were minor, The sequence is a reminder of the region's dynamic geology. Local authorities emphasize that residents should stay aware, but there is no immediate cause for alarm. The primary impact today is psychological. Even a small tremor can shake a community's sense of stability, prompting questions about safety, preparation, and what might come next. By tracking the sequence, scientists hope to better understand the behavior of these swarms and provide insight for residents and emergency services. San Ramon and the East Bay sit atop a network of fault lines that define much of Northern California's seismic activity. Among the most notable is the Calaveras Fault, a major strike-slip fault running roughly parallel to the San Andreas system. This region has a long history of both large and small earthquakes, making even minor tremors significant from a scientific perspective. Over the decades, the East Bay has experienced swarms similar to today's, where multiple small quakes occur over hours or days without a major main shock. A seismic swarm occurs when a cluster of minor earthquakes happens in a concentrated area, often triggered by shifting stress along the fault or movement in nearby fractures. Unlike aftershocks, which follow a larger earthquake, swarms can start and end independently, sometimes with no single dominant quake. Scientists have studied the East Bay extensively, noting that these swarms tend to occur along faults with complex underground structures, where stress can be released gradually rather than in one large event. Historically, the Calaveras Fault and surrounding fault systems have produced damaging earthquakes, though major events are rare. Smaller tremors, like the ones San Ramon experienced today, are part of a natural cycle of stress, accumulation, and release. While they rarely cause structural damage, these swarms can act as reminders of the region's seismic vulnerability. Earthquake-prone communities have adapted by creating preparedness plans, retrofitting older buildings, and educating residents about what to do when the ground shakes. Understanding today's tremors in this context helps put them into perspective. They are small but meaningful signals of ongoing geological processes. By examining patterns of past swarms, seismologists aim to improve forecasting, emergency planning, and public awareness. For residents, knowledge is power. Knowing why the earth moves underfoot can reduce fear and improve readiness for when, not if, a larger earthquake occurs. Seismologists studying the San Ramon tremors emphasize that, while the quakes are noticeable, the immediate risk of a major earthquake is low. According to experts, swarms like these typically relieve small amounts of stress along faults rather than indicating an imminent large event. Scientists use advanced monitoring networks to track seismic activity in real time, allowing them to detect patterns, measure magnitudes, and assess potential hazards. The Calaveras Fault, which runs near San Ramon, is complex, with numerous branches and irregular structures underground. This complexity can lead to repeated minor earthquakes as small fractures shift and adjust. Experts note that today's quakes are consistent with previous swarms in the East Bay, minor, clustered tremors that rarely escalate into major shocks. The fact that multiple small quakes occurred within hours is interesting scientifically, but not cause for panic. However, experts also remind residents that California is a seismically active state, and preparedness is essential. They recommend basic steps like securing heavy furniture, keeping emergency kits ready, knowing drop cover hold drills, and having a family communication plan. While the likelihood of a larger quake immediately following a swarm is low, being prepared ensures that residents are safe if a more significant event occurs in the future. In terms of probability, studies suggest that only a small percentage of swarms lead to larger earthquakes. Scientists continue to analyze the data from San Ramon's tremors, looking at depth, frequency, and fault movement to better understand the situation. By sharing this information with the public, seismologists aim to provide reassurance while encouraging proactive safety measures. For residents, the key takeaway is awareness. Feel the tremor, understand its context, and use it as an opportunity to check preparedness, rather than worry unnecessarily about an imminent disaster. Today's sequence of small earthquakes in San Ramon reminds us that the ground beneath our feet is never completely still. While none of these tremors cause damage, they serve as a reminder that the East Bay is part of a living, shifting geological system. For residents, the impact is often emotional, rattled nerves, shaken confidence, and questions about safety. Recognizing the patterns and context of these quakes can help calm fears and provide perspective. Communities in the region have long prepared for seismic events. Earthquake preparedness is more than just awareness. It's about having actionable plans, securing heavy furniture, maintaining emergency supplies, and practicing drills can make a tangible difference. Even minor quakes like these are an opportunity to review these measures, ensuring families and neighborhoods are ready for larger events if they occur. Experts stress that while today's swarms are minor, they are scientifically valuable. Each small quake provides data that helps seismologists better understand stress distribution along faults and the behavior of local seismic networks. By monitoring swarms, scientists can refine forecasting, emergency planning, and public guidance for earthquake-prone regions. Knowledge is a tool for safety, reducing panic and improving community response. Finally, today's events highlight the human side of earthquakes. Residents shared stories of waking abruptly, pets reacting nervously, and families gathering to check in on each other. These reactions are natural, and sharing experiences can foster community awareness and preparedness. Whether you live in San Ramon or elsewhere in California, the key lesson is simple. Respect the power of nature, stay informed, and take practical steps to stay safe. Earthquakes may be unpredictable, but preparation, knowledge, and community resilience are always within reach.